When an award-winning journalist who crisscrossed the globe filing stories for the Associated Press and whose work appeared in numerous publications, including the Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg Business Newsweek, the Associated Press, the Huffington Post, and Salon leaps into the land of tech, co-founding Rutific, a company that specializes in smart logistics as a platform to help local delivery businesses save time and fuel. It's not hard to think that there was a winding career path involved. So when I reached out to Suzanne Ma and she said yes to coming on Winding Paths, I got kind of excited because I'm going to guess that there have been some times in Suzanne's path to becoming a co-founder at Rutific that have been very enlightening for her. And I have a feeling that her story is going to encourage all of you who are listening to be able to follow your own nonlinear career path. Welcome to our series.
Thank you so much for having me. That was a really nice intro.
I think one of the reasons that we really wanted to do this was to be able to kind of show the accomplishments of awesome women who might not necessarily be sharing these things themselves. What have been the biggest leaps of faith that you've been taking in your career?
Yeah, so the first thing that comes to mind, one of the biggest leaps I have taken thus far has been to give up my dream job in New York City. I was working as a news journalist in New York, something that I wanted to do pretty much almost my whole life. So I had a job, I had a life in New York, and I gave that up. I surrendered my work visa at the border, and I packed up and moved to China to work on a book project. And the book project at that moment was just an idea. I hadn't done any research. I didn't have a contract with a publisher, but I knew that I wanted to do this and challenge myself to try something new, and ended up moving to China, writing the book, and 5 years later getting it published. So that leap of faith worked out, but it wasn't, without the blood, sweat, and tears. Lots of tears, for sure. There's another leap of faith that comes to mind, which is a little more recent. So 5 years ago, I decided to leave my journalism life behind and join my husband's startup. So my husband founded a startup. It started taking off, and he needed help with marketing, talking to customers. I had absolutely no experience doing this, and decided that I would try. And so I went into this new frontier 5 years ago, and to be honest, I've never really looked back.
Now that you're here at Rutific, and as a founder, you probably have a lot of jobs. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the jobs that you've held at Rutific and what you've learned about your own strengths and weaknesses from your roles.
So officially, my title is co-founder and CMO. CMO stands for Chief Marketing Officer. And I am the only official marketer on the team at the moment. So I take care of, I'm a full stack marketer, as they say. So I do content marketing, I do product marketing, everything under that umbrella. But I also spend about half of my time, or more than half of my time, talking to our customers. So at Rutific, we currently have over 500 customers around the world, and they require our help and our attention. And so that's probably one of the most important things in my job. Spend a lot of time talking to them, helping them use the software, helping them understand it, helping them get the value out of it. And then as a co-founder of the company, I need to make sure that things are chugging along. So I do a lot of administrative stuff. Like I do the payroll, I do the accounting, I do the invoicing, I check the mail, I order team lunches, a lot of not glamorous stuff, but stuff that's really important to keep the business running and to keep the team happy. In terms of strengths and weaknesses, I think it's very easy to be overwhelmed with being spread so thin and wearing so many different hats and taking on so many jobs. So it's really important to pace yourself and still have a work-life balance, which I believe I do, because I pour my heart into my job to actually protect my heart. So you can care a lot, but you also need to make sure that you're not caring so much that you're just overspent.
There's lots of ways that you can plan routes. And there's also lots of ways that you can plan careers. So I'm curious about how you have gone about the planning part of your own career, and what do you think you'd like to learn next?
So I've always been optimizing for new experiences. So when I worked as a journalist, I made sure to have work experience in all different platforms. So I started off in the newspaper world, worked at the wire services, and then moved on to broadcasting and web later on. And then the same goes for the book. So after, working as a journalist for a few years, I wanted to try a different form of storytelling. That again is optimizing for learning, because writing a book was completely different from daily news reporting. And then, after the book was published, shortly after the book was published, Ratific started to take off. And I saw it as an opportunity to grow. Before, all I knew was how to work in a newsroom, how to function in a newsroom. And now we're running a company. Uh, so in terms of the next steps, I'm really excited to see where Ratific goes. If you talked to me about a year and a half ago, we were in a basement office with no windows, with a very small team. And now we have a team of 15 and growing, and we have a lovely view of the mountains and oceans of Vancouver. So I can't imagine where we'll be in a year's time.
I really love hearing how you kind of take it step by step, like opportunity or interest to opportunity and interest versus something that feels like it's very drawn out. Like, I get the sense that you yourself are creating the path ahead of you as you're walking the path.
Yeah, I'm very much a planner. If you look at my social schedule, you'll see you'll see calendar invites going out 2 or 3 months. So you would think that I had every step planned, but I think I'm learning as I go along that you can't plan everything, and you just need to be very aware, very awake, and you need to have your eyes open, because there's an opportunity in front of you that you never thought would be there, and you might underestimate yourself and say, oh, I could never do that. And I think time and time again, I've been taught that if you look forward, keep your eyes open, and you see something, and you take that leap of faith, like what we talked about, and try something, then you won't have any regrets, because you might fall flat on your face, which I've done many times, but then you might also find that you're actually pretty good at what you're trying out, and it might be a new career for you.
That was us speaking with Suzanne Ma from Rutific, and we are so grateful for her coming onto the show and for taking the time to share about her own windy, nonlinear career path. Thanks so much, and tune in next time.